We're here.
There we are.
You know, we talked all this time beforehand. Who's supposed to make this intro?
Well, out of respect
The old guy or the bald guy?
Out of respect for my elders, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay.
So go ahead and kick us off.
Hi. It's April 3rd, 2 days after April 1st, and this is CSI Podcast number 2. By the way, I don't know if you remember this, we did discuss it, but 10 years and 2 days ago was the day I made the infamous deal to buy the BCA pool leagues.
I read about it in Billiards Digest.
I had dark hair when that happened.
10 years ago?
I'm just kidding. Anyhow, we're here, and this is number 2 of the podcast. I'm Mark Griffin. This is Ozzy Reynolds, and you'll see more of him and less of me as time goes on. And probably about 10 years, probably an extreme difference between how much you see both of us. But, and Justin's here, which is one of the big topics. You can give all that razzmatazz. Most people don't read your press releases; they ignore them. I understand that.
Well, you know, usually that's true, but a lot of people read that one.
Yeah,
they got a lot of buzz. We would like to welcome Justin Collett to the CSI team. He is the new CSI Media Manager.
And
that is a big title.
Justin, are you with us?
I am.
Via audio?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for bringing me on board. I appreciate it. I was ready to get out of pool. I was ready to go. I was pretty much done with it. And the reason I signed up with you guys, and I just want it public, is because of Ozzy, to be honest with you. He said we had some talks, and I believe that he's got the ability to actually make some changes with the resources that Mark's been able to gather, and so I wanted to stick around and be a part of it. So that's why I'm with CSI, and I look forward to it. And I really feel like we can change some things, and we can grow something positive. So.
Well, we all think so. I mean, you have a lot of abilities, and you can. I mean, you can do it all. You can do the Facebook things. You can make the ads. You can do this, do that. You know, and it's pretty handy to have somebody that can do that. Plus, you're familiar. You're well known. You're respected. And you know, the TAR model just didn't quite get it, so we kind of took parts of that and parts of this and try something else.
Yeah, when I was first coming on board here is when the announcement was made that TAR was going to be shutting doors, so to speak. And Justin, you made it pretty public that you thought you were getting out of pool and going on to do other things. And I was only here a couple of days, and I thought, man, this guy with all this experience is going to walk right out the door. Yeah. And I just, I don't know, just couldn't come to grips with me. So I asked Justin if we could talk. I think we talked in Reno at the Bar Table Championships, and it was pretty clear to me right away that he was the guy we needed, because he can do all these things that right now we have others outside the organization doing.
Yeah.
So why not bring it in-house?
Totally agree. Well, we all agree.
Get more efficient, plus the experience he brings to the table is just second to none. So it was a no-brainer for me, and Justin, I'd like to thank you for accepting, and I think we're going to do some really, really cool things in the coming months.
So do I. I'm looking forward to it. It's we're starting to see some of the things ramp up here already with what's going to go down at Nationals. And I think right now in the industry, it's in a, you know, it's hit bottom, as close to bottom as you can hit. I think wouldn't still have anything going on at all. But I'm starting to see some positive things, and it's people are taking the opportunity to change. I've mentioned it before, like Matchroom, by naming Mark Wilson, and
you know, that was a good choice.
Making a statement that they're no longer going to put up with the status quo, the same old kind of, you know, song and dance. They're making a change, you know, and they're putting their money where their mouth is. They changed the way they did business to do it, and I think we're going to see more of that throughout the industry. Mark did the same thing. Look, I mean, with the invitationals this year. And,
yeah, that was a big step. I really feel it's the way to go, and I think you're going to find it's starting to favor especially when people find out who all the players are going to be. There's not going to be a bad match among them, you know.
Which, by the way, we're going to announce 4 more of those players a little bit later.
You're having to twist that many arms? You've only got 8 people? Are you slow? Well, I should have known that.
There's a method to the madness.
I hope so. But, I mean, it's really, we're not giving up on pool by any means. We have the amateurs, which is our bread and butter. But we told everybody that, you know, there's a lot of posts on AZ Billiards, and that, you know, we're just tired. We're tired of the lack of respect and all these things, and I'm not going to go down that road today. But we're not. CSI has more choices for all players, and that's what we're doing, and we're going to keep doing it.
You know, I had a conversation with Darren Appleton. He was here for a project that Andrew Cleary had put together, and he was talking about how it is changing. And what I was telling him was it's actually going to be better for guys like Darren, because instead of going to a tournament and having to play 50 guys who, if they have the stars align, can knock a guy out of a tournament, you know, now the only guys he's going to face are other professionals, and there's a bar to entry to where, you know, I think we're going to see a bar to entry for pros.
I
And
totally
I think
agree.
a lot of that is going to come. I think you're going to see the entry fees get higher. I think $1,000 entry fees are going to be a norm, and I think you're going to see a lot of people go away who, you know, have pro player on their Facebook status.
Yeah.
But you know,
There's not.
so
Yeah, there's not that many pro players in the U.S.
it's going to be interesting.
really aren't.
The next couple of years is really going to.
And I think too, Justin, just to kind of piggyback on what you just said, I think in the short term, you're right. You're going to see higher entry fees, much larger barrier to entry, and those guys are going to be the elite pro pool players in the country.
Right.
Long term, what I would like to see happen, and what I'm going to be working towards on the pro side of things, is there always should be a barrier to entry, in my
I agree.
opinion, to define who the pros should
Qualifiers.
be.
There has to be. We have to develop a method of qualifying, but you got to understand something too. We're an amateur division. We're amateurs, and so it's going to be an evolution.
Well, but also what we'd like to get to in the long term is to make the pie big enough so there aren't entry fees.
Yeah.
These guys get paid to do what they do. And that's going to take a lot of work. That certainly won't happen overnight, but that's what we're driving towards. That's the end goal.
Yeah. It's always been a lot of politics and everything else. I know when the ABP started, we were actually contemplating doing an association and everything. Said, let the players take a whack at it. And I'm not down on it too much, but they blew it once more time. So now I'm just going to ignore all those groups, and we're just going to march along, do our own thing, whatever pace it takes, just work our way through it. And because I think we've got the best shot of making something happen. Because we all love pool, we wouldn't be here. I mean, our staff, it's increasing now with you but our 4 core staffs, we almost had 200 years of pool with 4 people. That's crazy. Our staff's old too, though. So
I wasn't going to say that.
that's all right. But, you know, and we have more knowledge about pool than any other organization out there. So. Anyhow, but the main thing was we want to welcome Justin aboard, and he does a good job, and he will continue to do a good job. He's just going to have to do more. We want more. We want more. So
Justin will do a great job.
that's all right. He was too big for me to argue with, you know. Now we got 2 of them.
He
It's 2 against 1.
He doesn't argue. He just says yes or no, and then that's the end of it.
I see.
Well, that's a good segue into
Yeah.
the next topic, which is our BCA Pool League, USA Pool League National Championships, which will be July 16 through 26.
This is the 38th year.
38th. Yep.
And this is at the Rio now. Everybody needs to understand
At
that.
the
We
Rio.
moved, yeah.
Beautiful, large facility.
Oh, yeah.
Going to have approximately 300 tables.
Well, approximately 280 tables for tournament play, and then when you count the vendor tables and the exhibitor tables and the demo tables on it, as high as 320.
Yep.
About
And-
20 more tables than we had last year.
And we do, folks out there, keep an eye on the things that are being said about our events, and even though we may not respond to it, we know what's being said out there. And one of the shots I think CSI took last year was they wanted more practice tables. There just wasn't many tables available for practice. So this year we're going to have more practice tables available. That's one change that Mark has made. And we're going to have 8-ball, 9-ball, and 10-ball events for teams, doubles, and singles for all skill levels, from pro, open to anybody, all the way down to the leisure division, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Lots of mini tournaments, second chance tournaments, lots of opportunities to play. And I want to reiterate one point that we put out a press release on, but some folks may have missed it. In fact, I know some folks missed it because I was talking to a friend of mine in Virginia who's a pool
Your
nut.
other friend?
Yeah, my one other friend.
Oh, wow.
And he was asking me about the BCA National Championships, BCA Pool League National Championships. And he says, well, I'd love to go, but I'm not a league member. I said, well, you don't really have to be. You can buy a player membership and compete in different doubles and singles events
Yeah, you
throughout
just can't
the week.
play on a team
Just
because you're
can't
not
do
part
the
of a team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't do the team events. And depending on your ranking, though, there's lots of other opportunities. And it's like he didn't even hear me. Yeah, but I'm not in a league.
Yeah.
You gotta hear me. You don't have to be in a league. So go to our website, playcsipool.com, or email me, Ozzy, at playcsipool.com. I can give you more information, but the basic gist is there are lots of opportunities for you to play. Even if there's not a BCA pool league in your area, you can buy a player membership for just $25, and you can play all week.
And the interesting thing is, if you play in one of the events, you play in a singles event at our tournament, we went to green fees. You get free table time for like 9 days.
Yep.
It's a little wacko. I mean, you can play till your head falls off, and there'll be a lot of minis and things and matching up and everything. When the tables are open, it creates a lot more freedom to do things. And last year we did get a little short on tables, but in all fairness to us too, for the first time in forever, we lost power one night, and we were so far behind there was a 74-mile-an-hour tropical storm.
Tropical storm.
I mean,
in
it
the
was
desert,
crazy.
yeah.
At the Rio, it was actually pulling couches off the Voodoo Lounge deck and throwing them over, and landing them on cabs. It was like a typhoon without water or something. I don't know. It was raining. There was a lot of water. I was out. I got caught in it, and but it took our power down for.
Typhoon without water.
Well, yeah, you know what that is.
That was a hairy storm, man.
That was a crazy storm.
That was a hairy
Came from
storm.
nowhere, and I was moving my car, and from the parking garage to the Rio, can't be more than 25 feet. You could have wrung my clothes out. That's how bad. David said he came when he was moving something, and the water was going like this. The rain was going up, so it was pretty crazy. But it boogered up our whole schedule, and part of it was our fault, but part of it was just digging out of the trap.
Right.
And it was the first year at the Rio, and there were some real issues moving in
There's
all
always
those
growing
tables.
pains the first year.
At the Riviera, we'd been at the Riviera for 19 years. It wasn't ours for all 19, but so it was kind of do it in your sleep. But so this year we got it all. We have it more figured out. We're not going to have it all figured out. So.
Well,
But,
and
yeah.
you know, one of the challenges, Mark, that we faced this year, last year, you did the U.S. Open 10-ball and U.S. Open 8-ball
With 96-man fields.
in conjunction
Yeah.
with the BCA Pool League National Championships, which was open. What was your limit on that? 128?
On the 96.
The Opens.
96.
96
Yeah.
was the limit, so it
Yeah.
filled, both of them filled. So there were 96 player fields. So there were lots of players all over the country, high-level players, that would come just for those events. So the challenge we were left with this year was not doing the open events anymore and going to invitationals. Where do those players go?
Yeah.
Where can they play? So we came up with something. It's not ideal, but it's something, and I think it's good. We already had the 9-ball challenge, and that's open to anybody.
This is a bar table.
This bar
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
This is all
9-ball
bar
challenge,
tables.
yeah.
And we had the Grandmaster 8-ball event. Both of those events are open to anybody. From pro to can't hold the
Yeah.
cue. So, and the 9-ball challenge was July 16th and 17th. The Grandmaster 8-ball was July 20 to 22. So what we came up with was to add another event in between those two. July 18th and 19th will be the 10-ball challenge. So for those players that would come just for the U.S. Opens, you can still come, and you'll have lots of opportunities to play. You can literally play the 9-ball challenge, the 10-ball challenge, and the Grandmaster 8-ball back to back to back. And you'll be engaged in competition from July 16th all the way to the 22nd.
And you can play minis, because we'll have minis for the higher level players, and you can match up. Because we're not going to discourage gambling. We just want you to be a little respectful. You're in a state that if there's real serious gambling, they want their piece. So, you just keep it a little quiet, that's all. Use a little common sense.
Right.
But other than that, no, we're trying to create something for everybody. And the beauty of detuning our pro events, which are 9-foot tables, we had a total of 23 9-foot tables last year. We had 17 on the pavilion floor. We have 4 this year. So those tables are now we now have room for more 7-footers, and because that's part also what caused the problem of not enough 7-footers. So that's why we can bring another 27-footers in.
Yeah. And as
So it's better. It's going to work for everybody.
And as an added bonus or incentive for players to come out and compete at those 3 events, we've also added on our site, on the playbcapool.com or playcsipool.com. When you go to the sign-up page, you can sign up for what's called the triple play. what that does is automatically register you for the 9-ball challenge, the 10-ball challenge, and the Grandmaster 8-ball. You register for all 3 in one shot, and you get a $55 discount off your entry fees for doing that. So you can register for each one individually, or you can do the triple play, and it'll save you $55. So all you guys out there, you high-level players that would otherwise come to the U.S. Open events, come out for those events. It's going to be worth it. There's lots of incentive and lots going on through the week. So we hope you'll come on out and play.
I'll mention one other thing, because I don't think we made a big deal about it in most of our stuff. If you do come out here and you want to stay at the Rio, make sure you register under our room code, because Caesars has joined everybody else, and they have the resort fee. I forgot. It's like $18 a night. Our code, our block is exempt from that. Plus, we're a cheaper rate than what you can get.
Right.
So it's we're $79 and $129, same as last year. Be the same next year. And so, and the room rates are getting pretty expensive again in this town.
Yeah, definitely do that. Don't just go out and get the room on your own. Get it under our code. You'll get a better rate. You'll avoid the resort fees.
And they never tell you about the resort fee. That's one of those hidden as you leave the door deals. It's, you know. And so, I mean, the Rio is it's perfect for what we're doing. Like I say, last year there's some growing pains, and we're figuring them out. So we're excited. We hope everybody comes and joins us. Our numbers it's pretty premature, but we're right about where we were last year at this point. Last year we ended up with 6,400 unique people. You know, a total of almost 9,500 entries because they play in multiple events. So, and right at $800,000 in prize. So we expect it to be about the same. Also on our websites, if there's information if anybody wants to be an exhibitor. So we'll probably have some space. We had about, if you haven't ever been here, this really is the greatest pool show in the world. I mean, there's like 33 amateur events, several pro events, and then we have all kinds of minis, and we're going to be doing minis 24/7 if we can. Second chance if you didn't book a winner, second chance if you're out of the money, so you're playing somebody in your reasonable categories, and that's for teams, singles, and everything. So we're just, hey, come and play pool.
Yeah, it's a great place to be if you're a vendor. You got a lot of captive audience in one spot, and we sent out letters to our vendors that we've worked with in the past. But we also put out I put out some feelers on our Facebook pages that vendors are wanted for the event. So if you're interested, contact me, and we've gotten several of those. So I'm not sure at the end of the things if we'll have open booths or not.
We normally don't. It always fills up at the end. People wait till the last minute. But last year we had like 55 different vendors. You weren't there last year, but we had some in the side room called the Brazilian. We're having all the vendors are in the pavilion, which is the main room. That's where the big table, that's where the pro stuff is, that's where the tournament direction is. We're putting all the vendors in that one room. The main reason is that room is open 24/7. And it just works better for everybody. So, no, it's a great opportunity. One other thing I forgot to mention is we're the only ones that do this, but if you stay in the Rio, you get every feed that CSI is doing directly to your room, which means all the professional matches are they're pay-per-view. If you're outside the hotel, they're pay-per-view. If you're in the hotel, they're free and they loop, which means at 3 o'clock in the morning we're not playing matches, but you can watch what played that afternoon. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a huge benefit.
It's huge, yeah, because with these 16 invitations, these are all world champions. You know, there's not going to be a bad match. You know. Yep. So it's.
Yeah, and it's good, and it's good for the sponsors of the event too. Because, you know, if you're eating dinner during a match that you really wanted to watch, you can watch it in your hotel room later.
Yeah. So. All right.
Well,
what next, sir?
That moves us to the CSI Invitationals.
Oh,
that we're going to have.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussions when we were setting up this whole thing, whether to have 8 players, 16 players. I'm glad we're going to do 16. We made a deal with JP, who's he's a great photographer, and he does a lot of the matchroom stuff, and he's going to help us. He's going to do a lot of the posters, and Justin helped set that up, and he's going to be doing some of the coordination. And every one of these pros has to dedicate 1 hour per day for the amateurs. This will mostly be on 7-foot tables. And it is so unique because it doesn't sound like a lot, but really 16 players times 9, that's like 144 hours of free.
It's 16 hours a day of free lessons, demonstrations, autograph signings. Just pick the brain of the pro.
Yeah.
That's huge. 16 hours per day.
Yeah.
For every day.
So you can.
If you want to come down and take lessons from Efren Reyes for an hour.
Yeah, they're not private lessons. They're going to be. There might be 500 people around it, but we'll work it out, you know, and it's a pretty unique opportunity, you know.
Yep. And the format of those events, again, and a lot of people out there probably already know this, but it's going to be 16 players, round robin format, 4 groups of 4. The 4 groups are broken down by region. 4 from North America, 4 from Europe, 4 from the Philippines, and 4 from Asia.
We call it Asia. That's
Call it Asia.
China, Taiwan, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And well, let's just go ahead and do it now. We're going to go ahead and announce 4 more of the confirmations that we've gotten. And anybody you want to take a guess on the North American?
Oh, gee, I know them. I can't do that. You can just shoot them on out.
Well, for North America, we've already released Mike DeShane. And now, just this week, Shane Van Boening confirmed. He's going to be the second North American, not necessarily the second pick, obviously, but the second name that we're releasing for the North American group.
You have to understand something that CSI has always done and will always do. If a guy says, I'm going to be there, that really doesn't mean anything. When we get the money and you're paid, you are now in the tournament. We just don't play that game. So sometimes there's logistical issues, you know, it's out of country or who knows what. So.
And there's really
Yeah,
other
they're
reasons
committed.
there's other reasons for not just blurting out 16 names right from the beginning too, because we've got a lot of things to coordinate. There's a lot of moving parts, so we're going to confirm them as we're 100% confident that everything is done. So Shane Van Boening will be the second North American player in that group. Next, we move on to Europe. Mr. Ralph Souquet.
Now, the first one we mentioned was, I don't want to say the name, you said it.
Darren Apples.
Was it Darren? See, I was going to say the wrong name. I was going to give away the third one. Oh boy, see, I'm glad I asked. So we have Darren and Ralph
Darren and Ralph.
so far committed on the from the European side.
Yep. Ralph, consummate veteran, comes to mind.
Yeah.
Class act, nice guy, phenomenal player, and we look forward to having him there.
We're going to put a 15-second shot clock on him. He moves too slow. That's my only ace players. No, it's.
Then let's go ahead and move on to Taiwan or Asia. You want to pronounce this?
No, I'm going to let you do it.
Okay.
You're handling this.
I'm going to butcher this. Yu Hassan Ching. I think some people even call him Kevin. That might be his under the radar name. He just won, as a matter of fact.
He's from Taiwan.
Big tournament down at White Diamonds is that Louisiana?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with a huge Calcutta.
Yeah, he flew in there and snapped that tournament off. A lot of good players in that tournament.
Yeah, who was he? It was Josh Roberts, I guess he was gambling with, and I guess they're going to match up again.
So the first player that we released from that group was Ko Pin-Yi, and now we've got Ching in the mix as well. And that leaves the Philippines.
Now, who did we announce already?
Who did we announce already?
Bustamante, I believe.
Francisco Bustamante, that's right.
Nicest guy in the world. Still plays pretty sporty. He won the Derby all-around this last year, I think.
Pretty sporty.
Yeah.
Phenomenal comes to mind.
Yeah.
Second player in the Philippine group, Efren Reyes.
That's worth the price of admission, which is free. So, no. So we've got the two main men, you know, Efren and
Francisco
Busti.
Bustamante and Efren Reyes.
Yeah.
It's really awesome that
It
you're
is
able to
awesome.
get those two, because we're not going to see them for another 15
Nope.
years, or so it's any opportunity we have to get them over here. I think
Mm-hmm.
in a setting like what it's going to be in July is awesome.
Yeah.
It's really
now,
cool. I'm
Efren
glad
will
they came.
Yeah. Efren will surprise some people. I don't expect him to really, you know, his forte is not 9-ball and 10-ball or 8-ball. 8-ball is, you know, but he moves. He's like magic. You will see some magic out of the man. you just will. You have to keep your eyes
Listen,
open.
let me tell you, I
He's
know
amazing.
I know the consensus out there is he's getting older and he's losing a step, and that might be true.
Yeah, but he won the Derby one pocket again too.
If he won every single match in the whole thing, my jaw wouldn't hit the floor.
Yeah.
Really wouldn't.
No,
Really wouldn't.
he's from a different planet. It's real simple, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, it's really cool that we got them both.
So we've those are 8 of the 16. We're still working on firming everything up. The plan is in the next week or so to release more names and get them all out there. This isn't any kind of trickery. We're just trying to do it the right way. So.
Tell them about the other thing.
The other thing.
Oh, you mean the next topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's pretty interesting.
Justin wants us to move on
Yeah,
to the
well,
next
we need
topic.
to cover some ground because we got to have some time for jokes, and you're only halfway through.
And the Alaska stories, and I'm going
we
to cut
gotta
you
have
off in the
those
middle
No,
of everyone.
I'm pumped about this.
This one is so cool, and it's like, I can't remember who it was on the AZ Billiards, but somebody is reading minds.
Yeah.
Somebody's
Well,
reading
now-
minds. Was it
now-
Jaguar Joe? Or somebody
I'm
was
not
one of
sure, but let me preface this whole topic by saying this is not a reaction to anything that we saw.
No.
It was already a done deal that somebody posted it.
It was crazy.
And we're going to, okay, how do I even start this? Justin and I worked pretty hard to set this together, and I'll say Justin more than me. But we're real excited about this. July 17th, 5 p.m. Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern.
Well, your math is wrong.
It's wrong, yeah. I know.
It's somebody's it's
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
5 Pacific, 8
I love
Eastern.
these guys.
Yeah.
He's head of our accounting department, too.
We are going to have the Kamui Challenge match. You guys ready for this? This is
You're
going
gonna
to be
love it.
awesome.
It is.
Awesome.
Yeah.
10 ball, race to 21, winner breaks, magic ball rack in use, BCA PL 10 ball rules. The players, Shane Van Boning, Ko Pin Yi. Who doesn't want to see that?
And
Sponsored by Kamui.
Yep.
It's a Kamui challenge. It will be pay-per-view, but it'll be a very minimal fee. And if you're at the event, you can watch it absolutely free.
It's in your room, absolutely free. And when we say absolutely free, the way we set up the pro arena this year, since the arena is really one main table with a secondary table, so it's 2 tables, and we've got 36 feet, lineal feet of 10 high bleachers. We can seat like 300 people, which doesn't sound like a lot, but 300 people is a lot of people to fill up. And there's always room for standing and everything, but it's free. I mean, if you're just at the event, you get to watch this stuff for free. And that's pretty amazing because you also get to take free lessons from these guys. I mean, come on.
Well,
it doesn't get any better.
I mean, it really could be a historic match.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a long and drawn out.
And what is the race?
Type thing.
Race to 21.
Race to 21.
10 ball.
10 ball.
Winner breaks.
And Ko Pin Yi is. I've seen.
They
some
say he's got his. They tout his break as good as Shane's.
I've seen chatter out on the internet where people are pretty much calling it a pick 'em. I know that's hard to imagine with a player like Shane, but
I watched him win the juniors when he was 19 or 20 or 21. The one time I was at a WPA event in Germany, and he played in either our event or the BCA events before he took it, or he's played, and his younger brother is like 16 or 17. They say he's actually better than Ko Pin Yi was at that age, and I think there's a younger one coming up too.
I'm excited about this match. So
Yeah.
don't give me any
No.
responsibilities during this match because I'm going to be front
you
and
have
center
none.
watching.
No,
Okay.
we understand.
It is really going to be great, and I'd like to thank Justin for helping put that together. Literally, I called Justin one day with the idea. He called me back 20 minutes later and said, pretty much is done.
Well, rattle off what he's won. I mean,
Ko Pin Yi, just to educate the folks out there, because he's not as well known in the U.S., he was, I'm going to read off my notes, he was the 2013 Indonesia 9-Ball Open champion, 2013 World Cup of Pool Doubles, which was held in England. They took 3rd place. 2012 World Cup of Pool Teams in China, champion. 2012 World 9-Ball Championship in Qatar, 5th. 2012 World 8-Ball Championships in the UAE, 5th. 2011 ESPN 10-Ball Guinness Cup in Indonesia, champion. 2011 Japan 10-Ball Open champion.
And then they didn't mention the junior championships. I think he had 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah, these
No,
are
he's
just
a
some of
monster.
his accomplishments.
And I think the biggest thing is everybody touts Shane. Of course, they all say, well, if it wasn't for his break, he wouldn't make a ball, which I think is a joke because here he is blitzing people on an alternating break.
Well, he's won a few one-pocket tournaments
Yeah,
too.
yeah, but it's all about the break, Justin. Come on.
Yeah.
But Ko Pin
And
Yi
he
is-
just won a race to 6 bar table 9-ball tournament where the loser breaks.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And he double dipped Darren in the final.
Yeah, double dipped
That's
the world
poor old
champion.
Darren.
I asked Darren, I said, how could you let him double dip you loser breaks? This was his response.
But Copigny is being touted as the man with the break to answer Shane's break. So this is going to be a break fest.
Hey, and winter break?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What kind of packages could we see?
I don't know. Well,
It'd be
we
pretty
had
interesting.
Shane in the Tar podcast one time, and we were asking like, how many is the most you ever ran, and blah blah blah, and he said something that just blew me away. He says when he was practicing on his table up at Lucky's, and 17. Okay.
I do that routinely. You don't?
17 balls? No, he meant 17 racks. That's amazing to me. But you know, I believe every word he says because I've never. Shane doesn't. That's one nice thing about him is he's.
Well, you see
He's
how
not gonna lie.
smooth he operates under pressure. What do you think he does when he's just practicing?
Yeah. So. But anyhow, this is the new match. This is going to be like. This could become like the Alex Shane matches were. And
Yeah,
Alex
absolutely. Yeah.
Alex and Shane could come back, but Alex is a little in other areas. In fact, he's going to take a shot at snooker. I think people are underestimating how well he's going to do, but I don't expect him to. He has to get in the top 16 to make it work for him. But
I think if Alex wants to do anything with a cue in his hand,
he's
got a
dangerous.
legit chance to
Just
be
that
a winner.
He's not giving himself a fair chance. He said, like, he wakes up today and I'm going to go play in the world snooker
Right.
qualifiers. That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, but
No, that's
I agree with you, Justin.
that's always been Alex's thing. You know,
He's
if
got
he,
more talent. You know,
if he wants it, he can win.
see where you take Shane. Shane's got a lot of talent, but Shane earned his talent. He just grinds it. He just practices 10 hours a day. That's how you get talent. You know, where Alex can actually just quit playing pool for 2 years and then 20 minutes later he's at 95%. You know.
Right.
Yep.
So, but this is going to be exciting, and there might be some other ones coming up. Who knows? We're still putting some things together, and you know, so.
And we'd like to thank Kamui Tips for jumping
Yeah.
on board and sponsoring this particular match. And by the way, we plan on having. This is a plan. It's not set in stone. We'd like to have at least 2 more challenge matches during that time. We're probably looking at, I don't know, 20th, 21st, somewhere in that of July. But we're even talking about maybe doing some doubles stuff. So.
Well, and let everybody understand. So we have the pro events, and we're playing the professional 10 ball first, and then the 8 ball. They're both exactly the same formats, groups of 4, broken up divisionally by geographical boundaries. But between those events is about a 2.5 day open span, and we're going to be doing. Joe Tucker's going to be doing the American rotation playoffs with up to the top 16 players. In addition, we're going to try and put some kind of pro-am together that's going to be, we have 16 pros, and we're going to raffle them off, so to speak, and you can bid. If you want to play with Efren as a partner, you bid him. You know, high bidder gets him, and we're going to have a tournament, and like 60-70% of the money will go back to the prize, to the winners, and that's 30% or something will go to the junior program. So it's a little feel good and everything, but it's an opportunity to play. It'll be Scotch doubles. We haven't really figured out. It could be single elimination. I'm sure it would be single, race to 4 or something like that. And it could be a lot of fun. And you get to, I mean, how would you like to be Tiger Woods' partner? If you have 250,000, you might get there. But, you know, that's the beauty of pool. You can rub shoulders with the world's best, and you can afford to do that. So I mean, this is going to be exciting. I mean, lots of things going on.
Yep. Well, is there anything else we should discuss before we move on to our questions?
No, just we encourage everybody's input either during the week through emails or whatever. You can send us emails and AZ Billiards, and we're going to find our level spot with the podcast. We'll talk about our stuff. We'll talk about other people's stuff, but we're just kind of cleaning house a little bit and getting because there's a lot of things going on. So.
Yep. And by the way, while it pops in my mind, we do, if you are in another planet, we have launched the new CSI YouTube channel. We already have uploaded, thanks to Justin, the U.S. Bar Table Championships from this past, February?
Yeah.
I'm losing track of time. We've got the 9-ball division up, every recorded match from the 9-ball division and the 10-ball division. 8-ball we're hoping will be next week.
Yeah.
And that's really what a lot of people want to see is the 8-ball.
Well, then
Yeah.
we've got the footage from the previous years that's going to be going on.
We've got
we've
tons
got
of content.
stuff from the U.S. Open 8-ball and 10-ball and whatever the previous years and the 10-ball and the 1 pocket from previous years. That's all going to go up there. So it's just going to take a while.
It's going to be a lot of content, and Justin will attest to the fact that it's not as easy as clicking a button. There's a lot of conversion stuff that takes place, and it takes time.
Yeah.
But there will be a lot of content on that channel, absolutely free. And we want to make that the place to go when you want to watch high-quality pool.
And it is all high quality. You know,
All
set
the
set the
new
standard.
stuff is HD. I mean, it's 1080. You can watch in 1080. All like the matches that have been recorded. Well, since we got the HD TriCaster,
Yep.
which is a little over a year, I guess, year and a half. But last year's matches and this year's matches are all 1080, which is rare for YouTube. There's a ton of pool on YouTube, but there's not a whole lot of, real good quality HD stuff.
It just shows that CSI still has a commitment to provide amateur and professional stuff, and we're trying. I call it the shotgun approach. You just throw enough stuff on the wall and something will stick, and we're just trying to figure out what makes it work.
That's the Mark Griffin approach.
It is, yeah.
We're going to narrow this thing down
Well,
to
just
the target
you
from
just
now
have
on.
a smaller wall. I mean, it's so you downsize.
Smaller wall.
All right, let's go to the questions.
All right, you want to take this?
I'll
or me?
take the first one
Go
because
for
it's
it.
all about Cyclop.
Be nice.
Yeah. We have Linda Vandenberg, who's David Vandenberg's wife, and they have a Cyclop has that funny little logo. It looks like, she says, "Wow, here's a great slogan. Keep your eye on the ball," because their thing looks almost like an eye. Anyhow, so Jeff J2H, Cyclop has 2 ball sets, each with different color schemes. TV set actually seems harder to see on a stream than the other set, which is the same color schemes as Aramith. Why not use the set that has the standard Aramith colors? Well, we don't have a whole lot of choice in that. The sets that we will be using, and the only sets that we have access to, are what everybody calls the TV set. I agree that there's a couple of odd colors, but I'll tell you what, I'm colorblind. And sometimes in a room there's like 8 people and half of us are colorblind. I could never tell the 6 from the 7, and if it's a dark room, it can hard time someone to the 8 sometimes it's just a lot of colors. I can't tell the difference between the 12 and the 14. I don't think if you're doing commentary, you can tell the colors of any of those balls. I don't care which set you're using. It's tough. But the bottom line is our standard set, the set we will be using, is the TV set. And that's just the way it's going to be. We have a 4-year deal with Cyclop. And there's no S. It's not Cyclops. It's Cyclop. So that's what we're using. And as far as last year, everybody got caught with their pants down saying, "Oh, you should have given us notice and let us practice." We couldn't let you practice. We didn't have any of the balls. And there was, people were ready to blame everything that could have happened or should have happened or whatever on the balls. Those are better balls than Aramith. Their standards are tighter. I'm not saying they're better. They're both. You can only get so close to perfection. And then I'm happy with either one of them. And people are saying they're skidding and they're doing this. I just don't believe it. Justin, we had a lot of discussions last year. They filmed how many hours of it? And they think they saw 1 skid out of 10 hours a day in 9 days. It was insanity. And
Well, it seemed to be the people who won liked them. The people who lost, some of them didn't like them.
can you imagine that?
Well, you know the interesting thing too, and maybe I just missed it, but all of the complaints that I've heard about Cyclop balls have come from the amateurs.
No.
And not the pros.
No, I've heard some pros.
No,
Bartram was pretty outspoken about
But
not
then,
liking the balls.
and then actually, he was sent a set of balls and got to mess with them. He says, "There's nothing wrong with these balls." We think it's other factors. The guy before you has talcum powder everywhere. Everybody forgets that after this little storm we were talking about, the Rio lost what is called a chiller. A chiller is a huge, big refrigeration unit, and they have 3 of them. They only had 2, but they got 3 ballrooms, and they were rotating the air conditioning. And so it started getting warm back there, and everything was getting gummy and sticky, and it could have been that. Things that are out of our control. It took them 3 days to fix it. It's not supposed to break. That's what that storm did. It shorted out some stuff. So
I'm looking forward to Ozzy's first nationals.
I'm gonna. I'm not even gonna get out of bed.
I think,
It's
How would that
call
be,
me. Call me.
How would that be different than Monday through Friday?
Yeah,
now?
right. Just call me if you have a question. Yeah.
I'm going to be watching Shane Coe, so you guys do what you want to do.
Justin's been through a couple. It is unlike any other pool tournament you can even imagine. You can't even imagine anything like this.
I don't scare very easy.
Well, you're not smart enough to scare. That's why you're here. All right, go ahead.
Second question by the same guy.
Oh.
I'm guessing it's a guy.
Yeah.
There have been several AZ Billiard threads this week about the soft break at the 9-ball.
Yeah, there were a lot of comments. That's an interesting question.
Why do you feel it's important? And this is kind of a different question.
Yeah.
Why do you feel it's important to have both 9-ball and 10-ball at the Bar Table Championships? And then have you considered in some way banning the soft break?
Well, let me ask you. Well, I'll answer the 9 and 10, then we'll get into soft break. It evolved. It used to be just an 8-ball tournament. Then we brought in 9-ball, and then we said, well, let's do it. And then we did a king. If you won both of them, you get a bonus. And then we brought in the 10-ball. It gives a little more depth to the tournament. It actually added some things. You know, we have to bring people to the hotel to make the thing function. So they're similar games. You know, there's a lot of difference between 9-ball and 10-ball. 10-ball is not just 9-ball with one more ball. You know, 9-ball is a slot game. 10-ball is a call game. And so there's a lot of, you know.
Well, not only that, it's amazing what that extra ball will do to the table.
Well, yeah.
It changes the pattern of everything.
Well, sure
a lot
it
of
does,
times.
especially the break. So let's get into the soft break concern. And, you know, and everybody says alternating break, winner breaks, loser breaks. Both people playing on the same table. Both people can do the same thing. I'm not a fan of the soft break, but I don't know how you stop it because, you know, I mean, Mike DeShane can break at 30 miles an hour. On a good day, I break at 20 miles an hour. So what happens to the girl that breaks at 12 miles an hour? Is she soft breaking? No, she's hitting as hard as she can. So where's the, what is soft, you know? Yep, that's soft. So.
Messed up my hair.
I know. So I don't know how you monitor it. I mean, I've heard terms as best effort, best honest effort. Now you got to have a referee. What do you do? And then people say, well, maybe you should put the 9 on the spot. I'm not a huge fan of that, but we're not allergic to it. Because this is top level competition. The U.S. Bar Table Championship is no slouch. You got, I mean, we might have 5 past U.S. Open champions, world champions. It's not a walk in the park.
You know, you could do the 9 on the spot thing, but I can tell you from playing in the Andy Mercer,
which was the
event
rum
over
runner,
at the
yeah.
Rum Runner, that was the rule there.
Yep.
And it took me about, and I don't play bar table that much, and I've certainly never played in an event where you put the 9-ball on the spot. But it took me about 3 minutes to watch how everybody was breaking, and they just simply, they cut break it with a little bit of outside English, and bam, the ball goes in the side pocket every time.
Yeah.
So it's a different wing ball.
Yeah.
It's just different. But they figure out how to make that ball
Somebody
every
will
time.
figure it out. And then they were even saying Corey figured out how to make the 9 out of turn because he'd soft break and he'd end up with a combination about 60% of the time. Corey's done an anomaly too.
Yeah.
But hey, you know, anybody else can do it. All they got to do is put in the time. Anybody else can break like Shane. Just go do it 6 hours a day. You know, I mean, it's just, don't complain because that guy's beating at your own game, you know.
So I guess the short answer is, you know, we've talked about a lot of different things, and we're still considering some things. Don't really
You
have
actually
a
did, you had we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and you actually had an idea that was half decent. I can't remember what it was.
I had an idea that was half decent.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
That is news.
Yeah. I didn't tell you? No, we talked about it. We talked about different options, and one was racking it on the 9, one was...
No, that was the discussion regarding pattern racking.
well, that's the other half of this question,
And my
actually.
my take was, so what?
Well, yeah. You know. Well, the other thing was the magic rack. You could almost let the opponent, you know, rack for you. That way I can set a pattern for you. Or we actually thought, well, since we've got Joe Tucker in our corner, and he probably knows more about a 10-ball rack and 9-ball than anybody, say, Joe, what's the worst possible racking order? And make everybody rack that way.
And that was my idea. And I've already asked Joe Tucker, and he sent me some feedback. So he gave me, he's basically known as a racking expert, but he gave me the worst possible pattern for the breaker in every game. And that was my idea. I don't care if you pattern rack, but everybody breaks the same pattern.
First of all, you can't enforce it. So how can we have a rule you can't enforce?
The only downside to that idea, the only downside to that idea is guys will figure out how to break at the same exact speed with the same exact angle, and you might have a lot of tables look exactly the same. That's the downside. Might take a little excitement
But
away.
then the guy, the
Now I'm
racker
shooting down
could
my own
reverse it.
idea
Well,
here. So.
there is no answer. I mean, there really isn't. You know, look at bowling. Every frame is the same. I guess golf is different because you can move the pin, but you know, it's just every hole's a little. I don't know. It's just the nature of the game. You know. So you know, you cannot enforce soft breaking. You cannot enforce pattern racking.
Yep.
So we got to come up with something different.
Now, the third question by the same gentleman, we both will probably want to say a little bit about. Have you considered selling your tournament software, including the online bracket generator, to non-CSI tournaments? You want to go first on that, or me?
We've had a lot of discussions on that. CTS on demand is the name of it. That is not all it does, and it's been a 3-year process. It's no longer us. We have what is our player module, and then the CSI, and they were different things, and so we made everything was rewritten in the cloud, and it's a massive program, and the idea is to provide that. It's just not quite to that point yet with the parameters that we have to provide and everything. And we had some discussions on it today. It's not that far. Granted, we don't have to put it out to the public where it'll hold 6,000 players. Well, we can go up to 256. I don't think anybody ever get any bigger than that. And we will make it available under some scenario. It's pretty easy. All we got to do is, since it's in the cloud, we just have to give somebody a password to get into the whatever the terminology is. Give them a window to get to the thing, and where they can't damage anything. It's just recording their information. And it's on the horizon. It'll happen. It's not a priority. We've got a lot of things going on, and I'll tell you what, this IT stuff costs a fortune. So, but we're getting there.
Yeah, and in fact, we had a staff meeting today, and this actually came up as a topic because this program, CTS, will do so much more than anybody else other than us would ever need it to do, I think.
Well, most people don't know what it will do. It's really complex.
It's really built to handle.
Flexible.
It's really built to handle tournaments with thousands of players.
It's also SQL based. It's not, it's
cross-division conflicts, time, schedules, text message alert. I mean, it just does so much.
Yeah.
But my big question to everybody in the office today was, why are we not making this available? So people like me, when I was in Virginia running my tour, I was looking for a solution like this. Something that I didn't have to go out and create. I can just pay a fee for or get it for free or whatever the case may be. And there just wasn't much out there. Still not. There's still not a whole lot out there.
I think there's a lot of programs, but they're limited. I mean, there's so many
Very
unique
limited.
situations come up, like if a buy comes in. How about if, we're supposed to play a match and neither one of us show up? So somebody has to win, and then there's confusion. He was over there, and so you have to change things, and sometimes you have to fix things, And our system will allow you to do that. It's a lot of flexibility.
So we're driving in that direction. Yep. As Mark said, it's not our biggest priority, obviously, but we are driving in that direction, and
it'll happen.
We plan to do that.
There's going to be a lot of technology at our tournament this year that is going to surprise people. We had some of it in place last year, but with the problems of getting in on time and then that storm, we didn't even get to hook up some stuff that we just said, screw it, just leave it in the box. I mean, we got some kiosks. You swipe your card. Anybody who was there, remember the plastic card? And if you sign up in advance, so we can get your card printed and coded, that's your card. It'll have your number, and you can just go to one of these things and you swipe it. It'll pull your information up. Boom, tell you everything. And that's also your ID card, so we know that you're you can play on the tables for free and everything else. It's a pass, so allows you to watch the pros for nothing and blah blah blah. So it's pretty cool. All right.
All
next,
right.
Nick B. I know him.
Nick B. Based on, I'm not going to read it as written.
Yeah, good.
Based on the fact that it's 2014 and web presence and social media is uber important, how long before we can expect to see a new CSI website? What's the first thing I was yelling at you about? Day two and all?
And the amazing thing is we hired some professionals to do our websites. There was 3 of them: Play BCA, USA Pool League, and CSI. You can't say you get what you pay for, because we paid a lot and we got a pile of crap. I mean, I don't know how anybody deals with these IT guys,
Well,
in
fairness,
at least I like the fact that you can do some of these things, and we didn't have anybody in house that can have a grasp on it. And when you're trying to run a league, this internet stuff kind of catches you off guard, and pretty soon you're in a hole, and it's just, man.
In all fairness.
The answer is we're working on it, though.
We are working on it. A new site, I don't know, I guess that depends on your definition, but one of my first priorities when I came on board was, let's clean this up in the short term, and maybe there's some bigger solution down the road. But we have been cleaning up the sites. There was a lot of outdated information, just simply because everybody got busy doing the day-to-day things, and it just wasn't
Exactly.
maintained properly. But it will be from this point forward. And in fact, that is going to be one of Justin's responsibilities moving forward, and along with me. I'm not a web developer, but I know just enough to keep me dangerous. So we are cleaning them up. We have a live stream page, which if you're watching right now, that's where you are, that we didn't have before. And some of the other information is getting cleaned up. All the new press releases are there and organized. And unnecessary things are being removed. So we're moving in that direction. Don't know if we'll have something brand new. You always have to keep costs in the forefront of your mind. And also, we've got, particularly on the BCA Pool League site, a lot of special little modules written for that architecture on that site. So if you go with something completely brand new,
It's all
that's got to be redone, completely
Yeah,
redone.
and we use, what is it, .NET Nuke, and I remember when we researched it, and there's a lot of discussion, and I had a lot of people that are pretty sharp, and they said, there's nothing wrong with .NET Nuke, it's fine.
It's okay. I mean,
you know,
for me, I just had to
it's
get
just-
used to it.
Yeah, I guess
Just
it
not
doesn't
what I'm
like to
used to.
play well with other programs and everything. But we have 3 major sites, and then we were going to do that landing page concept, which would explain to people where they want to go. But who knows? You got to make it simpler. I know we got too complicated, which is going to lead into some of the other questions down the road. But anyhow, let's
All right, Jam.
By the way, Jam, she's not listening, but she will listen. I mean, she might be listening. I don't know. We have a very good friend of yours that now works for us, Robin.
Ah,
You didn't know that?
I don't know who Jam
Robin
is.
Boggs.
I know Robin. I don't
Yeah.
know Jam.
Well, Jam is Jenny Mallory, and that is Keith McCready's better half.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
She lives in Maryland. She's a court reporter type of thing. She's one of those girls that types at 400 words a minute and can talk and chew tobacco all at the same time.
Okay, well, she must have typed this message real quickly. Ozzy with a Y. How do you like living in Vegas? Absolutely love it. Love the weather. Love the city.
Ask him in two months.
I don't scare easy. Told you that before. I've actually been here in the summer, not the whole summer. But last I checked, we don't work outside, and our air conditioner's still working.
Yeah, we.
So I don't
yeah.
just living in Las Vegas that I've found so far.
That's me, probably.
No.
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 Okay.
We had knuckleheads in Virginia too.
Okay.
The DMV is horrible here.
Oh,
It's horrible.
yeah.
I didn't think it could get worse than Virginia. I was at the casino, and the guy's response was, "We don't care about the casino." He said, "We get taxed, I think it was 65%.
Ooh.
He said, "We get taxed 65% on casino revenue. We could care less. We want to know how many room nights."
Wow.
They
Well,
were a
that's-
hotel.
and
That's
yeah,
how they made
yeah.
their money.
All I know is what they tell me is it takes 2.5 people today to what equaled before everything took a dump, like 8 years ago or something.
Wow.
So if you had the same amount of people, they're getting 40%.
Yep.
Their drop's just not there. Okay.
So
and
I
we're running
agree.
short of time, so let's blow through these other ones.
Yep.
We'll put everybody to sleep.
He says, "I've been watching the Color of Money." Justin, this is going to be one for you. "I've been watching the Color of Money match between Earl and Efren in 1996, and noticed that even then they had the instant replay available for great shots. They may have edited this after the fact, I'm not sure. Just wondering if this technology could be used for future CSI events." I don't know. Justin?
It's just money.
Yeah, it's money.
Very,
It's,
very expensive?
To do it with the new tech system that we use, it's about 20 grand.
But it's also a person.
Yeah, you have to have
You
an
have to
operator.
have to have an operator.
Right.
So you're
Because
just
the way it works is basically the camera feed runs from the camera into the. It can either be split or run in series. But basically, what happens is that feed comes into the replay module, and you have an operator there, and he marks in and out points, and he can go back and access that. So what that does is it will actually take and create a clip, and then he sends it to the TriCaster as a recorded video, which you then roll into the feed.
Yeah, and he better know what he's doing and work quick.
Yeah,
You
well, I mean,
understood everything he just said,
yeah,
right, Mark? Yeah.
basically.
but you would have to. It's
You're just recording it, and it's just another step, and
Well,
you have to be able to retrieve it.
basically it's like you're doing super fast edits, and it's like when you see replays on television, you know, it's gotten to the point, streaming has gotten to the point where it's getting better and better. So people are expecting more and more of what they see on sports broadcasts and things like that. And then Matchroom does such a good job.
They do a great job.
But people have to understand that while some of these programs can do some cool stuff, you're still comparing it to something that has literally multiple trucks of production crew doing this stuff.
Yeah.
A UFC fight, if you go, I've been to the trucks for the UFC, and you've got 8-10 guys running a show.
Yeah, they're big time.
And
We're not.
So the answer is, yeah, it's very possible, but
It
right
is
now it's
possible.
just cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's really not. It's not. You just wouldn't use it that often.
There's a lot of other, I think more important things that those resources could be spent on, for sure.
I'll read this next one because it kind of mentions you guys more. This from John of Green Hornet. I had the pleasure of meeting Ozzy of CSI, Joe Tucker of American Billiard Club, and Justin of TAR. These three guys are perfect examples of people who put the game and the players of the game before themselves. I was amazed at how much of their time they sacrificed to spend time with me. They stood nothing to gain, but yet they made me feel like I was on the inside looking out for once. A note to all players. If these guys did this for me, just stop and think how much they can and will do for you. So you actually got a compliment. I'm
That's
surprised.
rare, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
rare.
surprised. He doesn't know you. But no, really, all three of these guys are pool freaks, and Justin's a technology freak too a little bit, and that's what we thrive on. We're running. We're not. If I could pick 100 businesses to go into, this would not be the top of the list. So it's because I want to do it, and so does he. He took a pay cut. He probably was going to get fired. That's what he tells me, but took a pay cut to come out here. It's all right. He's going to take a pay cut when he leaves too. No. He had a great saying to somebody. He says, if you do something really wrong and you get barred, it's barred for life. I'm 35 years old. I'm going to be here for 40 years. That's a long time. See, I can't say that anymore. 40 years ago I could, but I can't say that anymore.
If you're here 40 years from now,
Yeah.
you're looking a little rough now. I can't imagine what you look like then.
So I appreciate the fact that you and Justin and Joe all put the extra mileage in.
Well, absolutely.
In theory, it pays off. Sometimes you really question that, but you think in someday it pays off.
That was a terrific compliment, and
Yeah.
John was such a great guy and helped out
Yeah.
so much, and we really couldn't do much for him, and I felt bad about
Yeah.
that. But John, thank you very much. If you're
Yeah, I'm
watching
glad
right now.
I didn't get a chance to meet him. He said he'd hope to meet me at our tournament because I just didn't go to Reno. I couldn't have all our staff up there, and I was only going up there for 2 days. It wasn't worth the effort. So,
Yep.
Okay, then to Ozzy.
To Ozzy, with Joe Tucker's help, I'm going to win at least one game against you next year. Thank you guys for all you do. It doesn't go unnoticed. Yeah, John and I played for a little while, and I got lucky a few games. But John, we'll see you in July, and thanks again for the kind words.
Yeah, thanks, John. It was appreciate your help, and I enjoyed meeting you. Hope we see you at more events.
Well, anything else we need to say before we depart?
No, I don't think so. We're over our time limit. We covered a lot of ground. I think everybody should pay attention to what we're doing. We
have
got
a
2 more
time
weeks.
limit?
Yeah, we usually try to stay about an hour. But most of the viewership actually comes with the reviews. It's not on live, and Justin will have it up tomorrow, hopefully. But we appreciate comments. We really want. We're trying to make something happen. We've made a lot of changes for the July event that I think will have some industry changes. Barry Berman's changing the U.S. Open 9-ball quite a bit. We'll see how that works out. He's going to $1,000 entry, trimming the field to 128 players. A lot of people are trying different things because what's been going on for the last few years just doesn't work. And so some are going to fail and some aren't. And the main thing is we keep trying. And there's enough talent and enough wherewithal and enough people in the industry, if ever we could work together, could probably make a lot better progress. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening in the near future. There's just too many idiosyncrasies of people. I like to think I can get along with people, but I can't. Some people I can't. And it's unfortunate, but it's just life in the big city.
Well, I guess my departing words will be, although the industry seems to be in a pretty sad state right now, I'm very, very optimistic about where we're going.
I like where we're going.
I'm thrilled with the opportunity to head up CSI. I think CSI is in the best position to take pool forward rather than continually regressing backward. And we're slowly building a team that I think is going to be stellar.
I agree with you.
And we're going to move in that direction, and we're going to encourage players, promoters, everybody to work with us, and let's all charge in the same direction. The obituary on pool has not been written, and it's not going to be. We're going to keep moving forward, and we're going to get there. And Justin and I have had these types of conversations a lot recently. We are going to get there. So pool is not over. It's
I totally
alive and
agree.
well.
And we do need all those other promoters and pool rooms and everything. We need them. They're part of the formula, because eventually, to make things like this work, it has to come into a qualifier system. That has to be the model somewhere down the road.
You know me. I love qualifiers.
Yeah, and that's because you don't qualify for nothing. But you know, between the pool rooms or regional tours, and it has to be a cohesive unit. And really, if anybody wants to just look at it as a blind, well, why don't we do like? Just remember how the women's tour was for years. They actually had their, women don't have, they had their crap together for fairly well. And that's, let's say, a model. And we're not going to just copy it, but this is a work in progress. We haven't even really had the discussions. We're just trying to shore up everything and have a good event in July and analyze that. And but for the next 24 months, I see some huge changes coming for pool. Yeah. And that's all I got to say. No Alaska stories. Well, I did get to say Alaska a couple times.
You can start, but I'm just going to cut you off in the
That's
middle
all right.
of your story, just like Justin used to do.
Well, you know, Justin was bigger. You know.
I'll pinch your air tube.
Yeah, well, that won't help. I want to tell you something. Breathing is highly overrated.
Take your word for it.
Okay. That's
Well-
it. I think we're done.
Last thing I have to say,
2 weeks.
2 more weeks, we are going to get on a regular schedule. We said that last time, which was 4 weeks ago. Had a little bit of a scheduling problem.
'Cause you guys were in Reno.
No,
I had to go to
Oh,
Denver.
Justin went and did the straight eight, the straight eight
Straight
thing,
shots.
Straight
straight
shots.
shot
Yeah,
in
he had,
Denver for Kimberly and Mark Griffith.
so
And
hard,
they're doing some really good things for pool.
yep,
Yeah.
hard to do our podcast without the gear.
Yeah,
But we're going to try to maintain a schedule every 2 weeks, so we'll be here 2 weeks from tonight.
Yep.
And we'll do it again, and we're going to try to work in some guests and some different things so it doesn't
Yeah,
get...
this one was a little dry, but we'll get it better.
Last thing I have to say is good night. Mark, you have the 7.
Really? Really?
That was nice.
How about in one pocket?
When my eyes go bad, I'll try you some one pocket.
Okay, you
But right
do
now,
that.
we're going to stay offensive.
You are offensive. You do know yourself. Good night, all. Let's get the hell
Good
out of
night.
here.